Uh, Hi, my name is Josiah. This is my photo of me and Emma on birthday. I hope, I hope, I
Really
hope,
here. Really,
hmm?
really here.
I hope I hear with better with my Baha. Is also I do Auslan. Help people understand me.
There you go.
This is my family. I love my family and my partner Emma. Oh, that's me myself. Uh, I play 8 years old. I I live with share house with house my housemate Georgia and Emma in the Color Farmhouse. Also I do woodwork. I have same of wood.
Some. Okay.
I have some of my woodwork to show you to see.
Okay.
Fitness is fitness is important to me. I do CrossFit and swimming, and I play soccer and netball. I complete for this
Fine, fine.
triathlon earlier this year. I work in Blackburn Preschool Tuesday and Friday. I have been there for 6 years. I love it. I will teach keywords to signs to kids and teachers. They feel like me. Here I am teaching stingray. No, sign for turtle.
Can you put your hands up higher?
Uh,
Again.
sorry, turtle and stingray. Oh, you missed this one, Mark.
No, you just did that one.
Oh, I like working with the kids, but
No, this one. The two ahead.
what?
Keep going.
Each lesson, six with cute has a topic and activity and 5 or 6 keywords. Some of topics have done is transport, ratings, feelings, birthday, food, nature, animals, music. Uh, I use as family. I use a list to help me run this theory. I showed the children time for they copy it. I would like to share to you lesson on family. Fa- this is not for family.
Okay. Nice and hands up so people can see. Show the sign.
Family.
Try again.
Sorry. Family.
Okay.
Sorry, not funny.
Okay. Okay. Hang on.
Father,
Do it again.
father,
Thank you.
yeah, mother, mother.
Again.
Next one,
Oh, sorry. Okay.
grandma,
Grandmother.
yeah,
So again.
grandmother,
Good job.
yeah, grandfather, sister,
Right.
brother,
Yep.
mum, sister, and thank you.
Tony?
Thank you, Spiral. Oh, I love cooking the barbecue up here school.
Mhm.
All
That's them.
right.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Oh, hello, guys.
He could only just see you all now, so he couldn't see anybody before.
Oh, because of the slides.
Yeah.
Thank you
Yes.
so much, Josiah. That was very informative. And Josiah actually presented at our new babies day that we had a couple of weeks ago, and which was wonderful. We had lots of families there with their little babies, and it's a great place to network. And Josiah presented, and so too did Lisa, who's about to present next. And Josiah also presented last week at our online keyword sign language workshop, and again tonight. So tonight sort of completes our series on keyword sign language. So thank you very much, Josiah. That was very informative and great to teach everyone the family signs, which are really important for all age groups. So we'll hand over to Lisa Dodd now, who will lead the rest of the session. And yeah, so over to you, Lisa. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Hi, everybody. So as Melissa said, my name is Lisa, and I have been using and teaching sign language for 26 years now, ever since my son was born. My son has Down syndrome, and when he was born, we were told to start using some sign language for the expected speech delay. So we did, and we started out with only 6 signs, and we were using them like all of the time, but we were only concentrating on those 6 signs. And one morning, Cameron was understanding what I was saying, but he wasn't signing anything back, and it was getting a little bit frustrating. And one morning, and he was sitting in the kitchen, and he was upset, and I didn't know what he wanted. And I said to him, "Do you want a drink?" And he went, I said, "Do you want something to eat?" And he went, I said, "Well, what do you want?" So he put his little hands up. So I picked him up, and he looked up at the cupboard, and then he looked back at me, and then very carefully he did something like this. And I said, "Oh, do you want a biscuit?" And my 2 daughters came running into the kitchen saying, "Mummy, Mummy, what is it?" And I said, "Oh, Cameron just signed biscuit." They said, "Oh, can we have one?" I said, "No, but he can." And he got lots and lots of biscuits that day. So from that great response that we gave him, he started signing all the other 6 signs that I had taught him, which I'm going to show you and explain. But so I then had to quickly go and learn some more, so that, but it just worked out so well in our family. So with Cameron and with his speech delay, which he did have, and he had a lot of sounds, trouble with the soft sounding sounds like the ch and the sh. So he would come up to the fridge and he would go like this, and he would say ease, and I knew that he wanted some cheese. So it really did make life a little bit easier for it. So it was it worked really well in our household. As I said, he's 26 now, so he talks and he still signs, and if he doesn't get his point across, he will sign, which is really good. Or he'll type it out now, but whatever. But it works. It's great. So what I'm teaching you today is known as keyword sign, as I know Melissa has said. All of the signs that I'm teaching you are from Auslan, which is what's used here in Australia in the deaf community. So it's Australian Native Sign Language. So all of the signs that I'm teaching you are from them. But we do it in a slightly different way. And the most important thing to know, that when you're signing and with a child, you are signing and talking at the same time. You are always using them together, because if you were to only sign, then they would only sign. So you want them to know that it goes together. And what will usually happen is that the child will start signing back first, because it's easier to sign. It's easier to sign than it is to talk. So that's what happens usually. So, and when you think about it, babies do start signing before they talk without being taught. They put their hands up when they want to cuddle. They point at what they want. They wave goodbye. They can do all of that before they can talk. So signing is great. I'm sure you've all heard all the information, so I won't go too much about it, but it is actually well known now, and studies have been done, that if a child has been taught to sign and to talk, that their vocab will actually be wider than if they're just if they're just learning how to talk. So that's a really, really good thing to know. And it's also good to know that signing will not stop your child from talking. If a child is capable of talking, they will certainly talk. And usually our children, most children with Down syndrome are capable of talking. What you'll find is that they'll just start signing first, and then when they start talking and they're clearly understood, that's when they usually drop the signs, and that's what you want to hope for. So because we don't have very long, I'm going to go through a list of signs, and I'm going to teach you the alphabet as well. There's a number of reasons to teach you the alphabet. First off, it helps you with the dexterity in your hands. And a lot of signs are from the alphabet, and I'll explain as I go through the alphabet. I'll explain more about that. And also the alphabet is really, really good for naming things. So it's good for naming people, and it's good for naming like TV shows and things like that. But and it's also a great idea to have a sign name. So a sign name is something that's individual to everybody. So you get yourself, you give your child a sign name, and you give everybody in the family who is involved with that child a sign name, because names are usually very difficult to say. So if you've got a sign name, it can make it easier. And we often just say that you can use just the initial of your first name. For a sign name, just to make it nice and easy. So when I was first told this, I went home and I told my husband. And so, of course, I was known as Mum. This is the M from the alphabet. When I double tap that, it becomes the sign for Mum. And so that was my sign name. So whenever Cameron wanted me, that's what he would do. All right, so the sign for Dad or father is the F from the alphabet. When you double tap that, it becomes the sign for Dad, Daddy, or father. So that was what my husband was known as. So my son's name is Cameron, and this is a C from the alphabet. So we just did a double tap to make that his sign name. So when Cameron was talking about himself, or when we were talking about Cameron, we would just do that. Now I have a daughter named Rihanna, like the singer, Rihanna. And so it's an R, and that's the R from the alphabet. So we just did a double tap. And so if Cameron wanted to talk about Rihanna, or if we were talking about Rihanna, then that's what we would do. Now, my eldest daughter's name is Talia, and I said to her, you might not want to be known as that. And she said, why not? And I said, well, that's a sign for toilet. And she went, oh, no, I don't want to be that. So we just decided to go with the R shape, because at the time Cameron used to call her Rara for some reason. And so we just made it very abstract. And so we made Talia's sign name just out here in front of us. So if Cameron wanted to talk about Talia, he would Rara. And we had Rihanna. So that's what we did. And that's why we teach you the alphabet, to give you sign names, and to for TV shows and things like that. It's really, really good. So when Cameron was 4, he couldn't talk very well, but he could come up to me and he could do the H from the alphabet like this. And he could say, Harry Potter, which he would always whisper for some reason, but we knew that he wanted to watch Harry Potter. So that's what we did. We just made it nice and easy. So the alphabet is easy to learn. I'm only going to do it once, and then you guys are going to have some homework. You're going to have to go off and learn the alphabet. All right. So it's easy to learn. It's easy to remember once you've got it. It's easy to remember. I learned it when I was 17. I was working with a lady who was deaf, and she taught a few of us in the office. She taught us the alphabet. She taught us a few signs. And when it came time for me to have to do it again, I had remembered the alphabet. So it is easy. So you can find it online quite easily. Just make sure that you ask for Auslan finger spelling, or Auslan alphabet, I should say. And here in Australia, the alphabet is done with 2 hands. Okay, so it's two-handed. American Sign Language is a lot different to ours. It's called ASL. And it will come up when you Google stuff, it will come up. And it's one-handed. So you make sure that you learn the 2-handed alphabet. Okay. So, and when if you're looking for anything online, you make sure that you're looking for Auslan. Okay. Not ASL. Because the signs are way different. So you want to learn what's used here in Australia. Okay. So I'm going to start with the alphabet. And I'm using my right hand. I wear my watch on my right hand. I do apologize, but I always have. So this is my right hand, and everything I'm doing is going from my right hand over to my left hand. If you are left-handed, you use your left hand. You use your dominant hand. You want to make it as natural as you possibly can. And if you are left-handed, then watching me, it's easier because I'm your mirror image. But for people who are right-handed, when you're looking at me, you've got to remember that you've got to swap it around because this is my right hand going over to my left hand. Okay. So for the alphabet, for the vowels, they're all on your fingers. So it's A, E, I, O, and U. All right. And when you are actually doing it, usually you would move your finger down so that they can see. Okay. So it's A, E, I, O, U. So we start with A, and then it's B. So my hands are like this, or they can be up like that. Doesn't matter. All right. C, as I said before. All right. And then D. Okay. You're actually making the shape of the D. All right. Now, when I double tap that, it's a sign for daughter. Okay. All right. Then E is your index finger over to your other index finger. All right. And then F. So it's 2 fingers over 2 fingers. And as I said before, when I double tap that, it's a sign for dad, daddy, or father. Okay. So then there's G, which just hits down on your hands. That's G. All right. H just goes down like this. And then I, so it's my index finger of my right hand over to my middle finger. All right, so that's I. And then J goes from there, and it makes the shape of the J up towards your thumb. Okay. All right. And then K, so it's your index finger, and then you're making the shape of the K. All right, when I double tap that, it's a sign for kitchen. Okay. All right, so L lays just flat down in your hand. And M lays flat down in your hand with a 3. If you double tap that, it's a sign for mum. All right, then N, and I can double tap that, and it can be the sign for nanny. Okay, so O is over to your index finger. P is up high to make the difference between P and D. All right, and with P, I'm going to have them up there. And if you double tap that, it can be the sign for Poppy, like, granddad Poppy. All right. So Q. So with my left hand, I'm making a circle, and with my right hand, I'm putting the stick on for the Q. All right, if I double tap it, it's a sign for question. If I move it up like this, it's a sign for Queensland, because, Queensland is up north. All right, so R lays flat down in your hand. And S is baby finger to baby finger. And when I double tap that one, it's a sign for son, as in I have a 26-year-old son. Okay. Now this is the letter T in the alphabet, and it's the sign for toilet when you double tap it, but usually you do it right there in the middle because it's easier. Okay, so T, toilet. Okay. Then U, so it's your index finger over to your little finger. Then V lays flat down in your hand, but if your fingers are spread, if I go like this, it's a sign for Vegemite. All right. W is just up like this. And then X is one finger over the other one. And Y is done at the back of your hand. And then Z. All right. And Z looks like a chair. Okay. And if you move it down like this, it actually is a sign for chair. So that's the letter Z. All right. Okay. So now you know your ABC, sort of. But yeah, if you just have a look online, and you'll be able to find it. It's quite easy, and it's easy to learn. And as I said, you can give yourself some sign names, and your children, like all of your children's sign names, just so that it makes it easier for your little one to be able to say a name. So there are a couple of other signs that are from the alphabet. So I forgot to do grandma and granddad, which I know Josiah did before. But grandma and granddad, so it's the G and then MM. And granddad is GFF. Okay. And there's also a couple of other signs from there. So there's another sign, TV, it's from the alphabet. The sign for nappy, so that's it's the N from the alphabet, and you go like this for nappy, but you usually do it which you can't see, but you usually do it down where you would put a nappy on, but that's the sign for nappy. Okay, nappy with the N. And then there's 2 other signs that are from the alphabet, but they're not actually done with the alphabet. They're done up here, and they're really good signs, and they're good to know. So the first one starts with C, and it's done like this. All right, and usually make a joke and think, what do you think it is? But I'll just tell you because I know you can't do it. So it's chocolate. Right, so, and the other one is the L from the alphabet, and it's placed up there as well, and it's a sign for lollies. All right, and the reason being is that if you eat too many chocolates, you eat too many lollies, you're going to have to go to the dentist, so that's why it's done up there. All right, so they're good ones to know. So this sign chocolate, Cameron learnt that in about 30 seconds. It was my daughter's birthday, and I had a little tiny chocolate sultana, and I gave it to Cameron, and I said chocolate, and he went please, and I went chocolate, and he said more, and I went chocolate, and so then he went something like that, so I gave him another one, so then he was like this, and he was crazy. So yeah, he learned chocolate very, very quickly. All right, I'm going to go through the list of words that I've got here. So it's a kind of a bit of a combination. It is a lot of signs, and it's a lot to get through. And I can't tell if I'm going too fast or anything, so I'm just going to go with it because, like I said, we don't have a lot of time. But at the end of all of this, I'm going to open it up. Well, we're going to end with the rainbow song. You've always got to end with a song, apparently. And then there's going to be questions and question and answers, and while you like, once we've gone through all of this list, if there's any signs that you think of that you want to know, just please ask me and I can show you the signs. All right, so I said at the beginning that usually I started off with 6 signs. And I'll tell you what those signs are as well, so when we get to them, and they're kind of in order. So we're going to get started, and we've already done a few of them, and Josiah's already done a few of them, but like, it's, good to reinforce it anyway, because, you're going to need these signs. So the first sign is mum. So it's the M from the alphabet, and you double tap it. All right, so mum. All right, and then dad, daddy or father. So the F from the alphabet, and you double tap that to become the sign for dad. Okay, right, so mum, dad, and then there's boy. Now, boy, it's your index finger, and he's feeling on his chin for his whiskers. All right, so that's the sign for boy. Whereas the girl, it's your index finger, and you go to your opposite cheek, and you just brush back lightly twice, because they've got like a little bit of blush on their face. All right, so the boy's feeling for his whisker, and the girl's got a little bit of blush on her face. All right, so boy and girl. All right, and I know Josiah did these ones as well, but I'm just going to reinforce it. So this is the sign for brother. All right, and it's just like, so it's your hands just rubbing up this way, and that sign is done that way because brothers tend to rub each other up the wrong way. So that's how you can remember that one. All right, and the sign for sister, it's your index finger, and it's crooked, and it's tapped twice on your nose, and that's the sign for sister, and it's done that way because usually sisters are sticky beaks. All right, so another way to help you remember. All right. And the sign for friend is just done like this. All right, so you're just kind of holding on to both hands and rocking back and forth a little bit. All right, friend. All right, and then the sign for family. So it starts with the F, and then it flings around and ends like that. All right, so my family. Okay, family. All right, so the next 4 signs are what I recommend that you start with. If you've got a new little one, these are the 4 signs that I recommend that you start with. All right, so the first one is eat, and it's just done up near your mouth. All right, so eat. It's nice and easy. Eat. Okay, and the next one is drink, and it's just placed up near your mouth. All right, so the sign for drink. All right, and that sign is known in every single pub in Australia. You walk into a pub and you go like this, everyone knows exactly what you mean. All right, so it's nice and easy. Drink. All right. The next sign is more, and it's done on your chest, and it just comes out once. Okay, so the sign for more. All right, and then finished. It just rocks back and forth. Okay, finished. So those 4 signs is what I recommend if you've got a new one. You start out with those 4 signs, and the best time to be starting is when you've got eye contact, which is really good. So often it's when they're in the high chair and they're sitting in the high chair and you've got some food for them. So you're saying, do you want something to eat? Do you want a drink? Do you want more? Have you finished? All right. And you can even just be trying to get a response. And so you could be taking the plate away, and it's like, do you want more? Or have you finished? And if they give any sort of response, so that's how you can get started. Now, at the beginning, I said to start with maybe 6 signs, and I've only shown you 4. The other 2 signs that I recommend that you teach your children is some sort of incentive sign for your child, something that they like. So my one was biscuit for Cameron because he loved his biscuits. So that was one of them, and he did that quite early on. He started that. So, and the other one that I used for Cameron was bath because he loved his bath. So this is the sign for bath. All right, just like this. Okay, so they were the 6 signs that I started with Cameron. So if you do have a little one that you're just starting out with, I recommend. So eat and drink and more and finished, and just two other ones that yeah, some sort of incentive for your child. Okay. All right. So the next sign is a sign for water, and it's just done like this, water. All right, water. It's just under your face, water. All right. So do you want your water? The other one is milk. All right. And it's just like you're milking a cow. Nice and easy to remember. And the sign for bottle. So my other hand is out like this, and this hand is just making the shape of a bottle. So if it's like a bottle, like a a milk bottle, it's just small. So if you wanted to make it a wine bottle, you just make it a bit bigger. Okay, so bottle. All right. Okay, the sign for apple is done just from under your chin. Apple. It's nice and gentle. Apple. It's meant to represent where, like if, the Adam's apple. So apple. Okay. And then banana. So for banana, my index finger is like this, and with my other one, I'm peeling the banana. Okay. Banana. All right. The sign for berries. So it's on my little finger, and I'm just making a little circle like that, and that's the sign for berries. All right. So you can be saying whichever berry it is, so strawberry, blueberry, blackberry. You can just say which one it is. Okay. So, but that's the sign for berries. All right. And the sign for fruit starts here on your chin, and then it comes down and it fists. Okay. So fruit. All right. And cheese. All right, so my hand is out like this, and this hand, it's like I'm grating the cheese. Okay, so cheese. Right, I hope everyone can see me. All right, the sign for bread. So my hand is out again, and I'm just slicing the bread. All right, so just back and forth, slicing the bread. All right, the sign for yogurt. So this hand, it's just fisted, and with my right hand, I'm making like that shape, and I'm just like dipping in the yogurt. Okay, so that's the sign for yogurt. All right, the sign for cake. Someone said we could see you. Yay, thank you. All right. The sign for cake. All right, so my hand is out here, and I'm just doing the little bounce test to see if the cake is cooked. All right, and it's the same sign for cake or muffin. Okay, so cake. All right, and of course I added in biscuits, which is, Cameron's favorite. So he did that sign when he was about 14 months old, which was pretty cool. And then a couple of months later, he came out into the kitchen, and he was doing it up here, and he was like doing this. And I'm like, do you want a biscuit? And we're going through it a couple of times. And so I went to get them out. I'm thinking, what's he doing? And I went to get the biscuits out. And that particular day, he decided that he didn't want a sweet biscuit. He wanted a Sayo. So he changed the sign and moved it up higher. So I thought it was pretty clever. All right, the sign for yes. So my hand, it's like my head is nodding, but it's with my hand. All right, so yes, and of course, so no is that way. All right, so yes and no. All right. All right, the sign for same. So it's just my two index fingers and they hit together. All right, so they are the same. All right, and then if I hit it together and then move them apart, it's a sign for different. Okay, so these ones are the same and these ones are different. I'm teaching you that sign the same because it's also used for the word also, and it's also used for the word to, T-O-O. And when we do the rainbow song, I can sing a rainbow too. All right, so you can remember it that way as well. All right, now the sign for hot. So if I'm feeling hot, it's a hot day. I'm going to wipe the sweat and flick it away. It's a hot day. All right, but if it's a danger sign, it's hot. Be careful, that is hot. Then you place your finger on your chin and you flick it away as if you just burnt it. Be careful, that's hot. All right, that coffee is hot. All right, be careful, it's hot. All right, it's like a danger sign, and you do it with force. It's hot. All right, and cold, it's just natural gesture. Cold, okay? Not today, but sometimes cold. All right, the sign for good is done like this. Now, in sign language, facial expression is very important. It's really, really, really important. And if you give great facial expression, your little one will give back great facial expression as well. So you can just imagine that you've got a little 4-year-old and they've come up and they've done a painting, right? They've got a painting and they're all excited and they show you the painting and you look at it and you go, oh yeah, that's good. It's like, no, can't do it that way. No, no, no. You have to put in the enthusiasm. You have to do the facial expressions. That's great. That's awesome. Oh, good stuff. You know, while you're thinking, what is it? But that's good. All right. So that's a sign for good. Now, usually I would ask what you would think the sign for bad is, and most people will go like this. And I like to say that's not right. In the olden days, this was let them live and feed them to the lions. But in sign language, this is the good hand. And with your little finger, it's a little tiny flick, and that's a sign for bad. All right, so you just flick it out just a little bit. Okay, bad. But that sign is not used to say that you've been bad. It's used more for how's your day? You know, have you had a good day or a not so good day? Now, in our society, usually, you know, if I say to you, hi, how are you? You're going to say good. No matter what's happening, you're always going to say good. But for our little ones, you might want them to be able to say that, you know, that they didn't have such a good day. Maybe it was just downright horrible. So we'll give them that option. All right. So good and bad. Okay. All right. So happy, the sign for happy, my hands are slightly cupped. And I'm cupping them like that. Happy, okay? Oh, I'm happy for you, very happy. And again, you have to look happy. Oh, happy, okay? Whereas sad starts on your nose and it moves down. So your whole hand moves down. I'm very sad for you, okay? And then there's angry. I'm just gonna, sorry, move my hair away again. All right, so for angry, my hand is clawed, but it's placed here and it brushes up and it's like, oh, I'm angry with you. All right. So your facial expressions, I'm angry. All right. Angry. Okay. All right. The sign for sick is my little fingers and they're placed here and they're moved down. Okay. So you can be a little bit sick or you can be feeling really sick. Okay. So sick. All right. And the sign for sore or hurt. My hand is out like this and I've just hit my thumb with a hammer. Okay, and give it a bit of a shake. Now that's a really, really good sign. It's nice and easy for children, and usually they'll try to do this, and like they'll often start it with near where it is hurting. All right, so they might do here and you think, oh, maybe they have an earache. Okay, and what you would usually be doing is you would be like pointing to wherever and saying, you know, like I'm pointing to where it is. So, oh, my tummy's sore, you know, or my knee is sore, and just pointing to whatever. Okay, so sore. It is a really good one for kids. All right, and sign for help. So my hand is out here, and with this hand I'm holding on and I'm moving it out, all right, to help. Okay, but this is a directional sign. So usually if you're with a child and they need help, you would move it towards them and say, do you need help? All right. But you might be saying to them, can you come over here and help me? You could also be saying, can you go over there and help them? All right, so it's directional help. Okay. All right, the sign for stop is just very much natural gesture. Stop. Okay. And again, your facial expressions can work well with this one. So just stop. All right. But then you can do wait. All right. And it's just like a double bounce down. Wait. All right. And it's a really, really good one too. Once they've got that understanding that, yep, okay, I am going to get whatever it is that I want. I just have to be patient. All right. So stop. Wait. And then the next one is a sign for don't. And my thumb and index finger are touching, and these 3 fingers are actually spread like that. But I'm going to place it and like go like this with force. Don't do that. All right. So I'm just going to move it straight down. Don't. All right. Now it's so this was one that I've been asked to add in. So like some sort of danger sign. So and that's what I recommend that you do. So instead of, you know, and like you can be saying, you know, whatever it is, you know, so don't run, don't, you know, whatever, but just don't is usually really, really good. All right. Again, facial expressions really work. I could do this to Cameron when he was across the room, you know, and I'd just look at him and I'd be like, and he would, you know, he'd probably go back and do it still, but he would know, you know, like mum doesn't like that. So it is a really good one. But again, facial expression. So don't. Okay. All right, and then there's a sign for calm down. All right, and it can be one-handed or two. All right, so you just on your chest, calm down. All right, calm, calm, calm. All right, so the sign for come here, it's just your hand, whole hand, just, come here, pretty much natural gesture as well. Come, and then the sign for go, it's one hand and it's just moves. It's just like go. All right, it's just very much says it all. Just go. All right, so it's the directional sign as well. So if I was telling everyone to go, I'd be pointing it towards the door. So my door is over that way, so I'd be like, I want you all to go. All right, so but that's the sign, go. Okay, all right, the sign for fun is placed up here on the side of my face, and it's just a double tap. Fun. Okay, that was fun. It was funny. It's the same sign. All right, let's go and have some fun. All right, and the sign for play. So my hands are like this and just doing little circles. All right, so play. All right, let's go and play. Okay. All right, and the sign for playground, it's a bit hard to see, but it's like a swing. All right, so yeah, if you're like sitting on a swing and you're swinging, okay, and it's the same, so it's the same sign for playground as swing. All right, so we're going to go to the playground and we're going to go on the swing. All right, so it's the same. All right, so the sign for jump. So I've added this one in. So these are my legs in sign language. So I'm standing at the moment. All right, I could be hopping, I could be skipping, I could be walking, all right, or I could be jumping. All right, I'm jumping, and if I turn my hand around and I jump a little bit higher, it's a sign for trampoline, and that's why I added it in, because like a lot of kids just love jumping on a trampoline. All right, so it's a sign for them. All right, the sign for books is very much natural gesture, just opening and closing. It doesn't matter how many times. All right, do you want to read the book? All right, and the sign for trees. So this hand is placed underneath this one, and this hand is going to like blow back and forth in the breeze. All right, so you can see the tree. Okay, trees. All right, the sign for shops. So my other hand is out like this, and this one is doing a double tap on my hand. All right, so shops. All right, we're going to the shops. Okay. Well, I love going to the shops. All right. The sign for swim is just very much natural gesture. Okay, so just like swimming. All right, let's go for a swim. And the sign for singing is done with your index finger and your middle finger, and it just rolls out like you're singing. Okay, so let's sing. All right, whereas dance, these are your legs in sign language, so I'm dancing. And then music is done like this. Okay, so it's like a conductor. All right, it's a music. All right, let's listen to some music. All right, the sign for car, it's very much what you would think it would be. Car and bus is done like this. All right, it's a little bit hard to see, I suppose. Bus, okay, bus. And truck. So this hand is like this, and this one is like it's got like the trailer on the back. So that's where that sign comes from. Okay, so truck. All right, so a lot of people used to ask, why don't you do it this way? And it's like, well, deaf people can't hear that, so so we do it this way. Truck. All right, and the sign for train. So my two index finger and middle finger are placed up here, and it's just moved across like that. It's meant to represent like the train tracks, the like the overhead tracks. So that's the sign for train. Okay. All right, the sign for how are you is done on your chest. So it starts here and it goes into the good sign. All right, so how are you? All right, so in the deaf community, if you were to meet someone in the deaf community, you would always start with hello. How are you? All right, so whether you can sign or not, hello, how are you? It's a very nice way to start a conversation. So it just starts here and goes into the good sign. All right, how are you? All right, and then there's nice to meet you. So this sign for nice. So my index finger and my middle finger and my thumb is up, and it starts on my chin, and then it goes into the good sign, and that's the sign for nice. And it's the N from the alphabet. Nice. All right. So it's nice. And then the sign for meet is like this. So my two index fingers come together, meet, and then you. All right. So it's nice to meet you. All right. So in Auslan, there's no filler words. So there's no sign for to, like TO. So yeah, so it's just nice to meet you. So, okay. So it's nice to meet you. But in keyword signing, and I think I did stress it before, but when you're using keyword signing, maybe I didn't. Yeah, with keyword signing, you are always picking out like the most important word. So the keyword, and that's all you're signing. All right. So you're not trying to sign everything, you're just picking out the keyword. And I don't think that I did say this, and I probably should have. All right. So that is very important. So if I'm saying to you, do you want a drink? I'm just doing the sign for drink. All right. I'm going to the shops. I've just picked out two signs. I'm going to the shops. All right. But you could just be doing, I'm going to the shops. All right. You're just making it nice and easy. You're making it easy for you. You're making it easy for the children. All right. So yeah, just remember that. So keywords are the most important word, and that's what you're signing. And yeah, and then when you get better at it, when your child is responding, then you add more signs in. Okay, so for example, you're starting off, do you want a drink? All right, and then when it's like, do you want a drink? Did you want some juice or do you want some milk? Okay, so yeah, that's how you kind of, yeah, but just keep that in mind. Keywords, most important words, and that's what you're signing. So a lot of people think that it's going to be, quite difficult, but once you know the signs and you realize that you're not signing every single thing, it's not too bad. It's pretty good, and it does work really, really well. So gone off topic a little bit. I'll get back to the signs. There are quite a few more to go through. So bear in mind all of these signs, like a lot of them have been requested, including the nice to meet you, and a few other ones. And yeah, so we're just adding in. So, but yeah, if you're thinking about any signs that you want, just please let me know at the end. Okay, so nice to meet you. All right, so the sign for like, as in I like that, is just done on your chest, and it's just little circles. Oh, I like that. All right, but it's your facial expression is important in this. I like that, because the sign for don't like is exactly the same, but your facial expression is different. All right, so oh, I like that. Oh, I don't like that. Okay, so it's the same sign. All right, facial. All right, so the sign for I love you is done like this. Okay, and it is actually from the American one-handed alphabet. All right, so that is I, and that is L, and that is Y from the alphabet. So we put it all together to make I love you. Now we have adopted over here in Australia, and we do like it, and so we do use it, and we do really like it, and it's really, really nice. It's really, really nice. Instead of yelling out I love you when you're dropping off the kids, you can just do that, and you'll see the kids, and they'll be very, like while they're walking away. But it is a really nice sign. But if you want to, you can also do the I, just pointing to yourself, love, and pointing you. Okay, so my daughter used to do that when she was little, and she would always go, I love you. And I would say, I love you too, but don't do that because you're going to poke your eye out. So I, I or me. Okay, but this is really nice. I love you. Okay. All right. So we are up to the colors. All right, and we're going to do the rainbow song at the end. So these are the colors. All right, so red is the R from the alphabet, but it's placed on your chin and it's just brushed down twice. So red. All right, and then yellow. Need to see up higher. So yellow. So my index finger and my middle finger are up here, and my other fingers are spread, and I'm going to rock it back and forth, and that's the sign for yellow. All right, so red and yellow. Pink is done like the shape of the, like around your cheek for your blush. All right, so for the color, so red and yellow and pink, and then green. So it's this shape for green. All right, but it's placed up here and it rocks back and forth, and it's a hard one to remember. And that's the sign for green. But if you think of it this way, so this is the sign for partying. So last night I was out partying, and this morning I've woken up and I'm feeling a little bit green. Okay, so that's where that sign comes from. All right, the sign for purple. So my other hand is out like this. My index finger and my middle finger mixing the two colors on the palette to make the color purple. So that's where that sign comes from. Okay, so purple. All right. Orange is done up here. It's like you're squeezing the fruit, and it's the same sign for orange, the color, as it is orange, the fruit. Okay, so orange. All right. And then blue. All right. So blue is done with your index, yep. So these 3 fingers are up, but we're just with your middle finger. You're going to flick lightly in the middle of your hand where the blue vein is. That's where it's meant to come from. Okay, so blue is just done like that. Okay. And then there's rainbow. So the rainbow is like this. And then so you're actually starting it down here and you're moving it up like this. Okay, so that's the sign for rainbow. All right, so we were going to sing it, but seeing as I can't, see anybody or hear anybody, I get out of that so I don't have to sing it. So what I am going to do is go through those words again. So that is the list of words. I had some animals here as well, but I just think that we're sort of like, it's a lot of words to get through. It's a lot to remember. I'll just go through them a couple more times, and then we'll have some questions, and I'll go through the alphabet, the rainbow song a couple of more times. But just, if anyone has any signs that they want to learn, you can type them up or whatever. I don't know if Melissa's going to open it up again for everybody to come on to see and talk. I'm really not sure. But I'll just go through all of the signs. So if anyone wants any signs, just type it up for me and I can do that.